on Barky Cross. Hi, my name is Anna and I am a singer.
Hi, my name is Peyton and I am a dancer.
And today, what are we doing today?
Today, we are back with more reactions to Secret Number.
Woo! So the two videos we'll be reacting to today have been highly requested. The first one is Privacy, the performance video, which was a B-side, the B-side from their most recent Got That Boom comeback. And then the second video is a cover that they did of Number One by Poa, and that's just like the live stage performance that they did at a festival.
Let's go!
Oh.
That was a cool intro.
Oh.
Oh.
I had expected it to be like as loud as their title tracks. I don't know why.
Wait.
Oh. This is like dark, not dark, but darker. Oh.
That was really pretty.
Which was?
The up, down.
Aye? This chorus is very like... Huh?
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say this chorus instrumental is very like summer EDM song. Wait, what were you saying?
I don't remember, but the beat that's happening right now makes me want to like ballroom dance.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that leading into the chorus is really like jarring. The distorted voice behind it. I can see how this part would make you think of ballroom.
That was a really nice transition. I like that move.
This is very different from what I had been expecting, not gonna lie.
This is really interesting because it kind of feels like two dances in one, if that makes sense. Which, like, it does make sense with the music because the verses and the chorus are very distinct. Because in the verses and like the pre-chorus and the bridge, especially the first verse, it's a little bit slower, their movements are a little bit more sensual, there's a lot of like rocking and body rolls and that sort of stuff. And then the chorus, like Anna said in the reaction, gets a little bit more like summery, it's a little bit more upbeat, and there's not stomping, it's never really percussive, but There's like the foot tapping. It feels more like you're at kind of an outdoor summer party, like a little bit more upbeat. But then the raps section in verse 2 is kind of like the bridge between them, because it's where you would expect for there to be more of that like sensual, slower movements. But the way she's rapping, they're emphasizing it instead of the music in the second verse. They're a little bit sharper, and then immediately transitions back into the like more sensual movements. So it's just very interesting. But the rap section was a nice like connecting point, because it kind of linked them together rather than it really feeling like this is one distinct dance, this is another distinct dance. There was that point of overlap, so that was like really interesting. But the contrast honestly didn't bother me that much, just because it kept me a little bit more like engaged, because it is a B-side. So like with most B-sides, the choreography is more repetitive than what is in a title track. And so the fact that it was changing back and forth between that like slower, more sensual movements, the kind of like summer party, and then that connecting bridge kept my mind like, okay, what are we doing now? Okay, what are we doing now? Okay, what are we doing now? So that was really interesting. And also it just like fit well with the music. So the musicality was really nice. My one like specific point though, I said I liked the privacy thing. And the reason is just because there was something very inherently sassy about this, because it was like they were telling you to be quiet. And I just thought that was really funny. And I associate Secret Number with a lot of like sass and attitude. So I was like, I don't know, I really liked that part. I know that this was for their Got That Boom comeback. This was like the B-side that went with it. And so I'm like comparing them in my mind naturally. And to be completely honest, I like Got That Boom better. But it was nice to see this, because their title tracks have both been like very bright, upbeat, like loud, and this was a little bit more withdrawn, so it was nice to see a different side of them in this. Anna's turn.
To start off my comments, Peyton basically just stole my first comment that I wrote down, which was I was saying in the reaction that it's very different from what I had expected, because I wrote their past two title tracks, Got That Boom and Who Dis, were very loud. I said like loud, high energy, bright colors, and like brass is a big motif in those songs. And there is a noticeable lack of brass in this song, because the song is more like, I don't know, it feels more like longing when you just listen to the music and the way that they're singing. Instead of being like, yeah, I don't need you, it feels more like, oh, I'm waiting for you. So like I said, it felt a little bit darker. Even that word doesn't really fit perfectly. More restrained, I guess. Less like woo 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 dynamic, and more just like kind of at this level, but it's expressing that level in different ways with all the different sections. Like Peyton mentioned, like the verses are different from the chorus, which is also different from the pre-chorus. For one thing, like the song is in a minor key, which automatically makes it feel like a bit darker, which is why I was like saying that longing sort of feeling. During the verses, it has that like deep bass, but during the pre-chorus, it has a slight brighter moment, because, well, for one thing, that like bass just completely cuts out. So the instrumental itself, even without changing anything else, just taking the bass out, it already feels lighter and not as grounded. But also what they're singing is higher as well, because also like overall, the song, I noticed too, like the vocal range is lower than their title tracks, which is another reason why it felt a little bit darker. Just going in chronological order, and then I mentioned the distortion behind their voices leading into the chorus and that one line, because like there's one layer of it just being sung normally, but then there's like an echo, but it's distorted behind it as well. So I was like, oh, that really caught me off guard, because this is very much contrasted with the sweeter pre-chorus that you just hear. But then it's contrasted again, because the actual chorus itself, while not like bouncy and bright and light, it does have like more of a laid back summer vibe. I mentioned like the summer EDM songs, because the synth on top that line as well, it's higher pitched, and also the rhythm of it reminds me of a lot of like summer EDM songs that I hear. I think just one thing that I kind of wish for is they have that whistle line, the whistling line in the very beginning of the song as the intro. I wish they had used that a little bit more, because I thought it was really interesting to hear. But yeah. Next!
So now we're going to watch their live stage cover of Poa's song Number One. And like most of our covers, we probably won't have too much to say afterwards, just because we know the original so well and we don't want to compare a rookie group to Poa.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, let's go. I am curious to see how they do it as 5.
Oh, are they singing or are they just dancing it? I wonder. They're singing. Okay.
They're singing, yeah. I like all of the denim has that like 2000s vibe.
Oh. I'm sorry, I should be saying things. I'm just mouthing the lyrics. Oh.
This is the whole song, right?
Yes? The
I think
song
so.
isn't super long. I feel like, who is it? Tita is dressed the most like how OG Poa styling was because of the net
The
top.
thing, yeah, I was thinking about that too. It's interesting to see like how the choreography changes for 5.
Oh, I can't say that because I don't know the choreo. Sorry. I was gonna say it's interesting seeing Jinny have to sing the whole thing since there's no rap in this song though.
Mm-hmm.
Cause she's had like a decent amount of singing lines.
Yeah. I was gonna say she's doing a great job.
Aw.
I love this song. Sorry. I'm not saying a lot, I just love it.
Yeah, I've just been mouthing the lyrics. That's one difference. There's more harmony. It's because it's 5 people. I feel bad. I'm just like stating something obvious. Oh, that was different. I always forget that happens at the end. So fair warning again, we said at the beginning that we don't usually have a lot of comments for covers, and that is true for this. So Peyton.
So I guess first just general comment is I can't make a lot of like individual comments about people because live camera work is the bane of my existence in K-pop performance videos. I can't recall right off the top of my head the entire choreography for this song the way that Poa does it, but I know like the main points of it. And I know that there were some changes they were doing, especially for like the dance break sections, which is interesting to see this done as like a girl group song versus a soloist song, because rather than trying to highlight one person in the center of a bunch of background dancers, they're trying to show off 5 individuals and each give them like their spotlight. So I just think that's really interesting how it just affects like even small things in the choreography, like some people going down instead of like staying up while someone does an arm movement where usually everyone would do it, but because Boa is the center, like the focus is always on her. So I just think little things like that you like might not notice right off the bat, but they're just like small changes so that everyone gets their moment to like be highlighted. But yeah, it was just really interesting. The vibe of this song is very different from the vibe of their title tracks. And their dancing kind of showed that too, because it's a little bit lighter, a little bit more like we just said with Privacy, we both kind of associate Secret Number with a lot of sass. And Boa definitely has sass, but it's like a different kind. And in this one, it's a little bit like brighter and a little bit younger. And their dancing feels a little bit... And brighter is not a term you use to describe dancing,
Innocent.
but for some reason it fits here.
This is when she was
Yeah.
very young.
Like really young,
The
right?
song
Like
was when she was
super young.
really young.
But yeah, it feels like more innocent. Like it's very light, I don't know, I love this song, and so I love watching people cover it, but that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I also don't have a lot to say. And my reasons for that are, one, they're not singing this live. And like that's normal when like rookie idols like cover songs by 선배s, like older groups and artists. So I'm not surprised by that. But that's also with the fact that two, the camera working was really bad. Really, really bad about like they got it on some moments, but a lot of the time they weren't showing the person who was singing when they were singing. One thing I will say though is I mentioned like during the reaction that like Jennie had a lot of singing parts in this, like more than I expected. But now that I think about it, it's not as surprising because like in their previous title track, she has like had singing moments too. But then like another thing I said in the reaction that's kind of obvious is like because it's 5 people instead of just a soloist, there's a lot more background harmonies that they're going to use than like the original because utilize the numbers that you have. It's really interesting because like their voices don't have the sass that they usually have either. And it's like that, like you were saying for the dancing, because this is more of just like a dobak singing style for the song, just like very straightforward and clean, not like the stylistic choices of sass or like the more breathy sort of quality that they had for Privacy. I feel like this reaction video has just been seeing things that we have not seen from Secret Number before, to be completely honest. So I really don't have much more to say. Yeah, like they did a good job with covering her singing, you know?
TLDR, I will keep it short and sweet. This was our first time reacting to non-title track Secret Number performances, songs, and it was very interesting. I feel like we had a very clear picture of how we saw Secret Number in our head before we went into this, and now we have seen new sides of them, and it's like reorganizing that picture in our head because yes, they're still sassy and they still have those very loud, brassy title tracks, but they can also do slower, more sensual. They can cover an artist like Boa's song. So it's very interesting and eye-opening overall.
But that being said, if you enjoyed this video and also enjoy seeing different sides of Secret Number outside of their title tracks, then please leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bell,
Ding!
and bye!